I think the thing to do is to enjoy the ride while you're on it. Johnny Depp is well known for many iconic roles and seems to have very strong feelings when it comes to family, saying things like, "One of the most beautiful things in the world is seeing a mommy with her kids. There's nothing more beautiful, nothing more sublime. If someone were to harm my family or a friend or somebody I love, I would eat them. I might end up in jail for 500 years, but I would eat them. If you love two people at the same time, choose the second, because if you really loved the first one, you wouldn't have fallen for the second." Music touches us emotionally, where words alone can't. My body is my journal, and my tattoos are my story. We're all damaged in our own way. Nobody's perfect. I think we're all somewhat screwy, every single one of us. I think everybody's weird. We should all celebrate our individuality and not be embarrassed or ashamed of it. The only creatures that evolved enough to convey pure love are dogs and infants. Just keep moving forward and don't give a care about what anybody thinks. Do what you have to do for you. I try to stay in a constant state of confusion just because of the expression it leaves on my face. She's kind of a walking poem. She's this perfect beauty, but at the same time very deep, very smart. When kids hit 1 year old, it's like hanging out with a miniature drunk. You have to hold on to them. They bump into things. They laugh and cry. They urinate. They vomit. You gotta be careful. Don't say a word to nobody about nothing anytime ever. Life's pretty good, and why wouldn't it be? I'm a pirate after all. I don't think anybody's necessarily ready for death. You can only hope that when it approaches, you feel like you've said what you wanted to say. Nobody wants to go out in mid-sentence. I always felt like I was meant to have been born in another era, another time. You can close your eyes to the things you don't want to see, but you can't close your heart to the things you don't want to feel. I am doing things that are true to me. The only thing I have a problem with is being labeled. I think everybody's nuts. My daughter was asked by a little old lady in a London hotel restaurant what her daddy did. She answered, "He's a pirate." I was very proud of that answer. Growing old is unavoidable, but never growing up is possible. I believe you can retain certain things from your childhood if you protect them. With any part you play, there's a certain amount of yourself in it. There has to be. Otherwise, it's just not acting. It's lying. Laugh as much as you breathe, and love as long as you live. I don't pretend to be Captain Weird. I just do what I do. They stick with you, those names, those labels, rebel, or whatever. Whatever they like to use. Because they need a label. They need a name. My sickness is that I'm fascinated by human behavior, by what's underneath the surface. I'm an old-fashioned guy. I want to be an old man with a beer belly sitting on a porch looking at a lake or something. As a teenager, I was so insecure. I was the type of guy that never fitted in because he never dared to choose. I was convinced I had absolutely no talent at all. For nothing. Puberty was very vague. I literally locked myself in a room and played guitar. Am I a romantic? I've seen Wuthering Heights 10 times. I'm a romantic. I made odd noises as a child. Just did weird things, like turn off light switches twice. I think my parents thought I had Tourette's syndrome. I don't know if I can relax. Relax I can't do. My brain on idle is a bad thing. I just get weird. I mean, not weird. I get antsy. My favorite color is black. Escapism is survival to me. There's definitely healing properties to being in proximity to the ocean and that breeze. There's something about that Caribbean climate and humidity. I'm shy, paranoid, whatever word you want to use. I hate fame. I've done everything I can to avoid it. Tomorrow it'll be all over. Then I'll have to go back to selling pens again. You grow up a bit damaged or broken, then you have some success, but you don't know how to feel good about the work you're doing or the life you're leading. There's no truth anymore. I'm not sure I'm an adult yet. I have this fear of clowns, so I think that if I surround myself with them, it will ward off all evil. I never wanted to be the guy people looked at. I don't think of myself as being a celebrity. It's too mortifying. Simplicity, that's what I want. It's been a rare commodity for me for a number of years. But I enjoy being able to hang out with my girl, read the newspaper, and sit back and start to read a book by someone I admire. I like the challenge of trying different things and wondering whether it's going to work or whether I'm going to fall flat on my face. I detest jokes. When somebody tells me one, I feel my IQ dropping. The brain cells start to disappear. But something is funny when the person delivering the line doesn't know it's funny, or doesn't treat it as a joke. The beauty, the poetry, the fear in their eyes. I didn't mind going to jail for 5-6 hours? It was absolutely worth it. Music is still part of my life, but I hate the idea of people coming to see me play the guitar because they've seen me in movies. You want people who are listening to only be interested in the music. When you have children, there is no room for lies. No room for anything but the truth. Anything other than that is a bad example, I believe. You use your money to buy privacy because during most of your life, you aren't allowed to be normal. There's a drive in me that won't allow me to do certain things that are easy. For a long time, I tried to manage an honesty and openness about my personal life because I'm human and I'm normal. Well, semi-normal. I've never felt particularly ambitious or driven, that's for sure. Although I like to create stuff, whether it's a little doodle, a drawing, a small painting, or a movie, or a piece of music. Johnny Depp dropped out of school at 15 years old to pursue a career in music, and came back months later with the principal telling him to go follow his dream. But if none of these quotes were really interesting, then I saved the best quote for last. If there's any message to my work, it is ultimately that it's okay to be different, that it's good to be different, that we should question ourselves before we pass judgment on someone who looks different, behaves different, talks different, is a different color. Here's the quote you should hear before you get too old.